Troy really handled that really well because, um, you know, it confirmed that she was underage. Because there was a lot of speculation of, well, maybe she just turned 18, and kind of a lot of people were saying that, and now it's confirmed. Um, she's 17, and not only is she 17, she just turned 17. That I think is the thing now that is confirmed for us. Marcus is in gonna be in some trouble. He's gonna be in some trouble at this point, and it's all coming to a head now. And somebody in the chat said Troy went off. Troy did go off. And look, yeah, Troy, exactly. She just turned 17. And, so while I'm watching Troy, I'm like, Troy, I commend you. First of all, let's go back to that. Troy, I commend you about the way you handled that. Because, we talked earlier. And look, y'all, I told Troy, I was like, you better not talk to that girl. I'm like, we don't know what age she is. I mean, I was like, we pretty sure that she's underage. I was like, you ain't, because okay, Troy, I hope you don't go off on me or anything like that. But I'll tell a little bit of it. Troy called me, and so he told me that she called him, and I'm just listening. I'm like, okay, and so he's telling me everything she's telling them and everything. And of course, he had already told me he talked to the old dude Ola and all of that. And so he kind of ran it by me like, what do you think? That's it's kind of like kind of just getting my opinion about her being on the show. And I said to Troy, I said, you ain't bringing her on the show. What are you talking about? I was like, hold up, Troy. I was like, let's backtrack. I was like, uh, I'm not Alan, your producer right now. I'm Alan, your homeboy right now. Because okay, so let me give a little backstory. So I started watching Troy's World some months back. I guess it was maybe at the beginning of this year. Don't know how I came across Troy, but anyways, I just like everybody, I got hooked. And somehow me and Troy ended up because I would make certain comments, and so I ended up at some point reaching him out with to him on Instagram with some information. And anyways, we gained a rapport, and I became one of his producers. And so ever since then, we've had a certain rapport. And then we found out we both were from Detroit as well. I live in Los Angeles now. I've lived in Los Angeles for longer than I basically lived in Detroit, but I'm originally from Detroit. So, anyways, we gained a certain rapport. But anyways, all that to say, when he brought that to me about this underage girl today, I said, "Now, Troy, you know you can't talk to her, right?" I was like, "That ain't gonna work." you know. And so he was like, "But I mean, man, can you imagine if we bring her on and I mean, man, the people they really would want to hear that." I said, "Troy," I said, "We not gonna play that game." I said, "You not bringing her on the show." I said, "Now look, I'm not talking to you as Alan, your producer right now. I'm talking to you as Alan, your homeboy from Detroit. We both from Detroit. You cannot talk to her. She's underage." And I said, the fact is, even if she's not, you can't talk to her. I was like, because regardless, Marcus is going to be in some type of trouble about this. So I was like, I would advise you to be very cautious about that. So, that was kind of my take on it. And I was like, just, I can't tell you what you're going to do or, how to handle it. I said, but I'm talking to you as a friend right now. I would stay far away from it. And I was like, because from what I know, I'm positive that that girl ain't 18. And I said, and considering what the topic is and what the allegations are, I said, oh no, 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 no. You cannot talk to her. And so, we kind of left it at that. And so Troy ended up calling me back. And then this is what else I told Troy. I said, don't listen to your your counterparts in this sector. I was like, because a lot of them, they're gonna jump on it. But wait a minute, Trey, what you said? He tried to tell me what to do, wrong thing to do. Right, right, right. Wait, we gonna get to that, Troy. because when you started that show, I was like, oh hell no, no, Troy didn't. Troy is Troy really going here? So I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? You have to put her on the line. I'm like, I told you, but don't call her, don't talk to her, don't So, but I told Troy, I said, these people in your, look, this is my first live, y'all. So if I end up saying something wrong, it is what it is. I'm just saying what is I'm just speaking the truth. I was like, these other people in your sector, some of them, look, they ain't got nothing to lose. Heck, some of them might be on probation. They already been to prison. So some of them, yeah, they gonna go ahead and talk to her because at the end of the day, they want a viral moment. I said, but Troy, you got a family. I said, Troy, you have businesses. I said, Troy, you have something to lose if you talk to this girl. Anyways, I'm giving y'all a little inside information. And so anyways, but it's the truth. And I mean, we all love Troy and we know Troy is an upstanding guy. You know what I'm saying? So even tonight, when his blood pressure went up and he was going off and using the N-word and cussing and look, we know Troy. Troy, at the end of the day, Troy is an upstanding guy. He had every right to go off because ain't nobody gonna play Troy for no fool. You know what I'm saying? It's like we know at the end of the day, Troy's an upstanding guy. At the end of the day, Troy has a good heart. So Troy did the right thing. But when he first started, and he was like, he was putting her on the line. I'm like, not Troy. I know we had this conversation. I'm like, I know you are not about to talk to this little girl. And then when he went on to ask about I guess that was supposedly the aunt, and is that her guardian? And then she got on the phone. I'm like, not Troy. You know, you can't handle it this way either. But Troy is smart. He was smart about it. He went about it the right way. And Troy knew from the time he started that show that he wasn't going to end up talking to her. But he was strategic in what he did, and I commend Troy by the way he handled that. It was a smart move on Troy's part. But at the end of the day, what Troy wants to do is he wants to um, expose and bring the truth of the matter to what's going on. And I commend him for the way he handled it. And I think we all love Troy that much more because of the way he handled that, and even the way he handled the young man Ola. Because you can't play around with these people. And that's what I talked to Troy about earlier. I said, these are kids. They think you gonna play their kid games. It's like ain't nobody playing with y'all. It's like we're adults. We already know the type of games these kids play. But they think that they're smarter than you. You know, but we all know it's like nah. But at the end of the day, like I said, excuse me, at the end of the day, um, I don't really care what none of them got to say because we already know who the real problem is. Um, look, enough about Troy. We here to talk about Marcus. That's what Troy said himself. Oh, really, Troy? If I want to make this whole live about you, we gonna make it about you. How about that?